All right, so here's the supplies that I've got. That almost everything here that I need is here. Just some of it's too big to fit in the frame here, like my bicycle. Like I said, this is a grid down, meaning there is no power, no water, gas, or anything like that. And it's currency collapse, so there won't be any money. There's no money that can be used here for this experiment. And so the bike will be kind of in place of a vehicle, because even though I've got my cars, I won't be able to use them because I won't be able to obtain fuel unless I procure enough stuff to trade for fuel or something, which is highly unlikely. So the bicycle is not in the frame, but I will be using it. Okay, now then again, I also don't have a bug out bag because I don't need one. I'm going to be using my cabin. It's going to be just like if I was living here, but the grid went down and currency was useless. So number one is obtaining water, because what would be normally flowing out of the pipes is no longer flowing. So just really simple. I've got this net goes with it, but this this thing right here, it's a single walled, but it's got two parts to it. Just this little thing, you know, you can gather water in it and boil it, whether it's out of a sewer or out of a pond. Hopefully not out of a sewer, but and then these little clamps here, they close around the side of it. You can just open them up and set them on a fire. Like, I'll give you an example. Imagine this is the fire. You're setting it on here. That metal part will be super hot, but you can lift it off with this. And then if it was to happen that these little handles were to melt down, you can take this multi-tool here, which is another thing that you need. Let me open it up here. You can always just grab it and pick it up and lift it off, whatever, you know, lift it off the frame. That'll keep you from burning your hands if it got too hot. That's just, the point is you need containers. That's what I have. And single walled is because they can blow up on a fire if they're double walled. So keep those, and you know, you can use them for cooking, or just you grab water and you boil water. Now there's a couple ways of obtaining water. That, of course, if you can find a water source, pond or something. If you're on the go, I have this life straw here. Let me open this up. This is the Berkey brand, but you can buy them at Walmart if you wanted to, or anywhere that's not expensive. But this, you can just take it and stick it in any water, no matter how dirty it is. It's good. You can just drink it, and the water is good. That's not going to be good for long term, so it's just something to keep with you that I recommend, of course, and I do have one, so you can have that. And then I got this Dutch oven here. You can also put water in it if you have to, but the cool thing is you can always put this over a fire. Same thing, just it's good for cooking all sorts of stuff, whatever you get. And you know, if things were to be really bad, of course we're in Texas, so we don't really have a problem with well, in central Texas we don't have a huge problem with, usually water's within walking distance. But just a towel, you take a good towel, and you can always go around in the mornings and soak up the dew out of the grass, and then you can wring that out into a container like that silver container there, and have something to drink at least if you just went around gathering it up in the morning. That's your main thing, is water. So I always make sure there's several ways to get water, and really water comes before anything. The only exception would be is if you just happen to be in some freezing climate whenever everything went out where you're gonna die. Of course, Central Texas is not like that, so we don't have to worry about that. I could talk about it if you get too cold. If your power and everything went out whenever it was 2 degrees outside, or minus whatever in the Dakota, all you can do is get out of the wind and then make yourself kind of a, you know, just a blanket tent, like maybe put it over a table and get under there. The heat that generates off your body will be trapped in that little blanket area. But that doesn't matter here, and actually it's July, and I'm sitting here sweating right now. Oh, the birds you hear in the background are swallows, and they're real annoying. They swoop down at your face whenever you go out, just walk out beside them, but they protect the chickens from hawks because they're protecting their own nest. So anytime the hawks come around, they just attack, which is a really cool thing. So I keep them. Food, of course, you're gonna have time to do gardening. So look, I've got these seeds, and what I did is I picked out what grows good in Texas. You know, if you're in another state, figure out what you think. These are, I don't see anything on these beans about them being non-GMO, but it doesn't matter if you're starving. I will be planting some corn and squash. This is squash. These three, corn, squash, and beans, grow great in Texas, so I'll be planting some of those. All three of them are Native American crops that have worked out, so I'll probably plant some of those over time here. Gardening, since you got plenty of time to do it, you just do it. Okay, now I think my #1 source besides from wild plants is going to come from fishing. So obviously I've got my rod and reel here, and I think I'll catch some fish with that rod. But I've also got this roll of fishing wire. I've also got these hooks. Before I start this, I'll probably buy some smaller hooks too. But I've got these hooks, and I'm going to go around setting up little trot lines in the little ponds I've got on my property here. This, if you don't know what this is, a lot of people don't know what it is. It's called a molcajete. In Texas, everybody should know what it is, really. But all this is just, it's a kind of a primitive grinder. You can take whatever you want, whatever vegetation, and just smash it up in there, basically. And what I'll be using it for mostly, I'm hoping I can use it on the hackberries to chop them up and make hackberry milk. But either way, I can use it to grind up other seeds and stuff too, to make meal. It's what Native Americans have used for a long time. Just a mortar and pestle set up to grind up whatever grains they're growing. This is made out of volcanic rock. It's a fancy one. You can get a mortar and pestle, I think, for like 10 bucks at Ross if they're on sale. So the other thing you need is, if you're gonna boil your water, cook your food, which that's what I'm expecting to do in this Dutch oven, is do a lot of stews and soups. But then also, you know, on the top of this thing right here, you can cook stuff too, like a griddle. All right, so what happened with the equipment video is it ended up going more than 15 minutes. So I'm gonna split it in half. Just wanted to let you know. I'll put the link in the description below for the other half of this video, but I have to do some kind of verification with YouTube before I can go over 15-minute videos, and I really don't want to, so I don't want to bore you guys. So click that link below, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.